Michel Camilo is just simply a musician that wants to say something new, play something new, write something new, and keep on discovering himself through his music. Music is my life, and I just simply want to share it with everyone, the more I can. And I always say, I will always do it as long as I have fun doing it. The day I stopped making music is because I didn't have any more fun. I have been all along trying to establish a new sound for the trio, especially in Latin jazz, because people tend to think that Latin jazz needs congas and timbales, and that's not necessarily true. So I felt that having the traditional formation for a jazz trio, piano, bass, and drums, I could still make Latin jazz based on the harmonies, the music, and the spirit of the music. So therefore, I think Triángulo is kind of defines a new solution for a jazz trio and how you approach it. It took me 5 years to get this concept because my latest trio CD was 5 years ago. In the meantime, I did 2 other projects. I did a duo project with a flamenco guitar player, Tomatito, and that record, of course, won a Latin Jazz Grammy Award. But and then the other one that I did was a classical album that I always wanted to do with the BBC Symphony in London, conducted by Leonard Slatkin. And you know, that's another dream come true, where I put my 3 worlds together. I believe a lot in the power of 3, you know. So in that particular concerto, I put my classical roots, my jazz roots, and my Latin roots together in one piece. And then in the meantime, what I did was tour the whole world with a trio, with Anthony Jackson on bass and with Horacio El Negro Hernandez on drums. And Anthony has been with me for 20 years now, playing on and off. And Horacio has been with me for 7 years, ever since he came from Cuba to the States. And out of that, all that traveling together, all these concerts, all this playing, all these experiences, I was trying to capture that magic that happens on stage between us, which is almost like a sixth sense, the magic, the chemistry that happens between the 3 of us. And it all came about because I noticed that when we set up on stage, we set up sort of like in a triangle, not in a straight line, but in a triangle, where the bass is right in the center, but further back. And the piano is not straight, but it's angled. And the drums are looking at me. So I felt that, yeah, why not call it triangle? And then from there I said, well, let's call it triángulo in Spanish. And this particular album also, I wanted to capture something else, which was the inner life of a trio, of a jazz trio. And we went even deeper in trying to capture the small colors and the nuances that happen and the interplay among the 3 of us. For that, I had to sit down and really choose carefully the repertoire. Well, even though my primary instrument is the piano, yes, I also studied percussion down in the Dominican Republic, where I'm from. And I also played percussion as part of the National Symphony Orchestra. I was the youngest member of the National Symphony Orchestra when I was 16 years old. And as you know, the piano in a symphony orchestra belongs to the percussion section, and it plays in the percussion section. And just imagine, to be able to be heard, you really have to project out. And I think from those years spent as a classical musician and trying to project a big sound on top of a big symphony orchestra, that all came together. And at some point I had to learn to play timpani and to play snare drum and to play cymbals. And from that experience, what happened is now I can communicate with my drummers in their own language. So therefore, yes, I understand the language, and it's wonderful to be able to tell them how I want to hear this, how I want to hear that. And I don't like that timbre, I like this timbre. And choose this cymbal, don't choose that cymbal. And that's wonderful. feel very privileged today because I can have my foot in two different worlds, musically, on the classical world on one side and on the jazz world on the other. I think they complement each other. It's really a thrill to go on stage and play with 90-piece orchestra, especially if they're playing your own music. And also to break these barriers between both worlds. I think both worlds really influence each other. And to be able to write for a major symphony orchestra and still blend your worlds in there. And on top of that, to be able to just go again and play with a trio, which I do sometimes in the same evening. First half with a symphony, second half with a trio. It's like a major dream come true for me. And I've been very lucky that I performed already my piano concerto with the Cleveland Symphony, the National Symphony, on several occasions, the Copenhagen Philharmonic, the National Symphony Orchestra of the Dominican Republic, and now I'm on my way to Madrid, Spain, to perform it in Madrid for the first time in Spain with the RTVE Symphony Orchestra for a worldwide broadcast to all the Spanish-speaking countries in the world. So that's a major thing for me. And it's great to have performed it at the oldest and most respected classical series in the world, which is in London, called the BBC Proms, which I did last August in front of 5,000 people. So now, to have two CDs at the same time out, one Triangulo and the other one Concerto for Piano and Orchestra, is really like a dream come true, and I like thanking God every day that I'm here. It feels that I'm being true to myself and that I'm fulfilling my duty, because I guess I came to this world to make music and to share it with everyone. And what I found is that it merges the audiences, because the classical audiences come to these concerts and they have a great time, and then the jazz audiences discover me through a different side of myself, and they also have a great time. So I think it just expands the audiences, and that's wonderful to see how they all have a great time at these concerts.